Good morning, I'm Joe Fryer. Good to have you with us.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks for starting your day with us. We begin this morning with the criminal hush money trial of former President Donald Trump and the ongoing testimony of the state's final witness, Michael Cohen.
Cohen, Mr. Trump's former lawyer and fixer, was back on the stand yesterday. It was the start of what could be a bruising cross-examination by the defense. Mr. Trump's attorney took aim at Cohen's credibility, accusing him of being motivated by money and revenge rather than justice. Cohen previously testified how Mr. Trump directed him to pay hush money to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in the lead up to the 2016 election in order to conceal an alleged sexual encounter. Mr. Trump denies all the allegations. The trial is taking a break today, so Cohen will return to the stand tomorrow for more cross-examination. Here to talk more about all of it is NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen and our legal analyst Angela Senadella. Good morning to both of you. Good to have you here with us. So walk us through what we saw yesterday. How is the defense trying to attack Cohen's credibility, John?
It's a great question, Joe. In every imaginable way, except so far on the details of what he's testified about. So a lot of testimony yesterday and earlier this week on the particulars of how Donald Trump was involved in this scheme, according to Michael Cohen, to basically pay the hush money to Stormy Daniels and then to reimburse Cohen. What the defense is trying to do is make Cohen out to be a liar. What they haven't done is make him out to be a liar on these details. The other things they're trying to do is show motivation, right? Michael Cohen has become a much more famous figure over the past half dozen years than he was before. So they say, look, you're trying to make yourself famous off of Donald Trump. You are trying to get revenge against Donald Trump because you're basically a scorned sycophant. And I think those things are all true. None of them have anything to do with whether or not this scheme was executed. So we'll see how the jury feels about Michael Cohen. He is a star witness in the most traditional Hollywood sense, in that both he can give testimony that is damaging to the defense, and also he is somebody who loves the camera.
Angela, how strong is that strategy to kind of generally go after credibility and not be addressing head-on some of these details that he had testified to?
So in this case, it is pretty effective, and this is why. We saw the prosecution saying that they were going to provide context and corroboration for pretty much every part of this. And we have really seen that with the misdemeanor. We've seen when Cohen says that these were falsified business records. We saw before other people testifying that in the chain of the money that they were likely falsified. So that seems to be all corroborated. But remember, in order for this misdemeanor to be kicked up to the felony, there's still that huge question of what was he doing with it? What was the intent? Was the intent to change the election, to interfere in it? And here is where we heard on the stand Cohen really giving testimony that only he knows, conversations that he had with Trump in rooms where no one else was. And there's not yet a lot of corroboration there. So that is where his credibility matters more than anything, because at that point, the jury has to decide, is he telling the truth there? Or is he just out to get Trump?
How does it seem Cohen is holding up in cross-examination?
So far, surprisingly well. I mean, we expected a possibility of him getting really cantankerous or really combative, just given what we've seen on TikTok, or really across the board anywhere. But so far, he's been very cool, calm, and collected. And that is what you need from a witness. He cannot blow up on that stand, or really that just further questions his credibility.
Good vocab word there from Angela. John, tell us what you think about this sort of parade of support that we're seeing, other Republicans physically coming to court. What do you make of this? What's it mean when we're talking about this in context of an election?
I'm going to try and, you use great vocabulary. I'm going to try to use Gronk words. Republicans support Trump no matter what. Now, what we've seen is a bunch of surrogates, some of them people who are trying to become his vice presidential candidates, some like Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who I think feel they owe him and certainly see some great benefit to them politically and standing with him. Basically, doing what we're seeing here, providing pictures, providing the physical support for Donald Trump. Nothing that any of them said yesterday had anything to do with the particulars of the case. None of them were able to refute Michael Cohen. Some of them have been calling him a liar, like the defense lawyers have, but none of them have any actual information about this. None of them are insiders on the question of whether or not Donald Trump, executed a scheme to falsify business records so he could win the 2016 election. Like, none of them have any idea about any of that. So they're out there saying Donald Trump's a good guy and Michael Cohen's a bad guy. and hopefully in their minds reaping the reward of Donald Trump's favor.
And it appears they were wearing matching suits, most of them, yesterday.
Yeah, matching suits and red ties. Not all red ties, but it was like Donald Trump's red tie army out there.
Yeah, Joe asking the fashion question.
There you well, it was noticeable. All right, John and Angela, thank you both. Appreciate your time this morning.
Great to have you start the show. Well, former top Trump advisor Steve Bannon could be one step closer to serving his federal prison sentence for contempt of Congress. Prosecutors filed a motion yesterday asking a U.S. district judge to order Bannon to start serving his 4-month sentence after his appeal was rejected. Bannon has until tomorrow to respond. Last week, an appeals court upheld his conviction on contempt of Congress charges for failing to comply with a subpoena from the January 6th committee. Bannon still has a few options left to stay out of prison. He could ask for the full bench of the appeals court to review his case, or he could ask the Supreme Court to get involved.
We now know who's going to be on the ballot this November in Maryland, which will be one of the most watched races in the country, with the winner perhaps determining which party is going to control the Senate. Last night, Prince George's County Executive Angela Also Brooks beat Congressman David Trone in Maryland's Democratic Senate primary. She will now face the state's popular former 2-term Republican Governor Larry Hogan in November. If she wins, Also Brooks would become only the 3rd black woman ever elected to the Senate. Turning now to the war between Israel and Hamas, the Biden administration says that it does plan to move forward with weapons deals for Israel, totaling more than $1 billion.
And congressional aides tell NBC News that weapons package includes about $700 million for tank ammunition, $500 million in tactical vehicles, and $60 million in mortar rounds. The deal marks the first shipment of weapons to Israel since the Biden administration had suspended transfers earlier this month. You might remember that. It's unclear when those weapons will be sent. The announcement comes as Israeli troops continue to push further into the city of Rafah. The UN estimated nearly 450,000 people have fled the city over the past week.
NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel joins us from Jerusalem with the latest. Richard, good morning. So officials involved in these ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas say talks have stalled once again. How much has this looming ground invasion in Rafah affected the negotiations?
Well, according to one of the top negotiators, the prime minister of Qatar, who is a key interlocutor between the United States and Hamas, someone who has been meeting directly with the head of the Mossad. He's been meeting with the head of the CIA. He came out publicly and said that the negotiations more or less collapsed after Israel began its military push into Rafah. The negotiations, as you know, have been going on behind the scenes since October 7th, since Israel launched its massacre into this country, since Hamas, launched its massacre into Israel, killing 1,200 people, taking hostages. The negotiations produced some results early on, and there was a weak ceasefire, and some hostages were released. Then they collapsed again, and for the last month, let's say, they have been intensifying. But after Israel moved on Rafah, according to this top Qatari negotiation, the talks fell apart.
Richard, a U.S. official tells NBC News that National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is expected to travel to Saudi Arabia and Israel this week. What do we know about that trip at this point? And just walk us through the goal here for Sullivan, for the U.S., especially as we potentially see this ground invasion in Rafah really start to unfold.
So I think it has to do with, and U.S. officials are saying it has to do with Rafah. Rafah is central to all of this. It is central to the negotiations. It is central to the people of Gaza, because as we've been following this war for 7 months, Israel has been fighting from the north to the south. It began just north of Gaza City, cleared that area. It now turns out that those areas are not clear. Fighting has resumed there. Hamas has regrouped. But in general, the fighting has proceeded from the northern part of the Gaza Strip through the center and is now focused on Rafah, which is in the extreme south, right along the Egyptian border. And civilians have been moving along with the fighting, trying to get out of the way following Israeli evacuation orders, and about 1.4 million people are now concentrated in and around Rafah. Earlier, actually last week now, the Israelis moved into part of Rafah. They entered the eastern part of the city and occupied a section of Rafah. And that's when, going back to our initial conversation, the ceasefire talks collapsed. And Israel now, according to numerous U.S. officials, has enough troops around Rafah that if it wanted to, if it got the go order, it could move in and do a full-scale military operation against the city. People are leaving in anticipation of that. You mentioned about 450,000 have already left. And it seems that the National Security Advisor is coming to the region to try and talk Israel down, to talk them from the edge. Don't do a full-scale invasion because of the humanitarian consequences. Let's go back to some sort of ceasefire negotiations.
Richard Engel, as always, we appreciate you joining us and sharing your reporting. Thank you so much.
Graduation season is in high gear right now, and for college students, interest rates on federal student loans are set to hit a high we have not seen in more than a decade. The U.S. Department of Education announced the new rates yesterday for the 2024-2025 academic year, which begins on July 1st.
Those interest rates, of course, remaining high because we're seeing inflation remain stubbornly high. So what can you expect if you are looking to take out a loan for next year?
For more, we're joined by Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief of Investopedia. Caleb, good to have you with us. So break down what some of these new rates are. What are the things prospective borrowers need to know right now?
Yeah, you're looking, if you're borrowing now for new student loans at around 8.8% for undergraduate school, right? If you're looking for graduate school, that could be even higher than that. Why? Because student loans are based off the 10-year Treasury yield. U.S. Treasury auctions these Treasury bills off every month, and this latest auction was about 5.25%. So the student loans are based off of that. These are for new loans only, not for existing loans.
Yeah, so that's what I was just going to ask, who this impacts. If you already have a loan, this is not for you.
No. If you already have a loan, you are locked into the interest rate you have. And there are some programs coming from the Biden administration, the SAVE program, that is income adjusted, so your rate could even go down, your payments could even go down. But right now, if you need to borrow for the next 4 years or beyond, you're looking at some of the highest rates we haven't seen since the great financial crisis.
Yeah.
We know that erasing student loan debt has been a priority for the president. Sometimes he's been successful, sometimes he's not been successful. But these are the highest rates we've seen since the Obama administration back in 2013. That's when Obama signed a bipartisan bill to retroactively lower rates. It's a different political climate right now. Could we see something like that now?
Probably not. And the president doesn't set student loans. Everybody needs to be very clear on that. They are based on the 10-year Treasury yield, and that's the way it works. But what the Biden administration did was cap the loan percentage at a certain rate. And that rate is kind of where it's at right now. So it can't rise above that. And for graduate loans, or parent loans, we call them, if you're borrowing as a parent for your kid, those are capped as well. So you can't lower the rate. You can cap the amount that it can rise above the 10-year Treasury yield.
And it feels like it's just been a lot of bad news for college students between loan rates like this. Then we know that FAFSA rollout was such a mess where students didn't know what type of federal aid they were going to get. What other routes do students have to try to save money? What tips, what advice do you have?
Yeah, there are scholarships, and then there's scholarships you can get from your school. These are merit scholarships, and there's all kinds. There's the presidential, there's the chairman's scholarship, there's all kinds of different scholarships. And then there's the obscure ones you can apply for that are $1,000, $1,500. You got to look for those. Every school has them, and there are organizations around the country that have them too. You got to do the digging. You can lower your payments by some $3,000, $4,000 by writing essays, applying for these unique scholarships, or you can do an employer loan. If you're working for a company that wants to sponsor you going to college, you might get a better rate. But if you go out and get a personal loan right now, those rates are going to be even higher than what the student loan rates are. So don't try that route. Stick with the student loans or find a way to either lower that through a merit scholarship or something like that.
I remember a lot of local organizations where I grew up. They do scholarships for different types of things. You know, it's like looking into those things. It's really good advice.
I used many of those.
So did
Caleb Silver, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Well, as you can see, we're going to take a peek outside our window onto Rockefeller Plaza, right in our backyard. The Northeast, look at that, seeing a soggy start to the morning. Let's get a closer look at what you can expect throughout the country with your Morning News Now forecast. guest.
Angie Lastman's with us. Angie doesn't look great out there right now.
It
Good
doesn't.
morning.
But you look great.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Look in your pink.
What a compliment. Yep, it's Wednesday, so you know what we're wearing here. Guys, I hope you brought your umbrella because you're going to need it, not just today, maybe even into tomorrow, and we'll get to the weekend before you get upset about that. Don't worry, I'll show you. But right now, we are starting, of course, across parts of the South, specifically Florida, where we see this line of thunderstorms working through. It's been like that all morning, and we do have a tornado watch that's in effect until 11 a.m. for folks there as we gear up for some more strong storms. There's the rain that you just saw from our view in Rockefeller Plaza. We've got it stretched up into parts of New York, Pennsylvania. Notice across even the Ohio Valley, some showers and thunderstorms early this morning. Here's the deal. We've got another round of some of these strong storms that are going to pop up in a couple of different spots through the day today. Notice we've got more than 20 million people from the plains to the Carolinas and into Florida that will have that slight to enhanced risk. So that means the wind gusts are going to be the main thing on the table. But of course, hail and tornadoes, you can't rule those out. By tomorrow, we start to turn our attention to the southern plains, specifically Texas to Mississippi, where we'll see rounds and rounds of really heavy, even torrential rain on already saturated grounds. That's going to cause some problems when it comes to the flooding concerns. But we'll also have a round of some stronger storms possible across Texas for tomorrow, too. That flood risk will be with us as we get into Friday, and we'll see some showers and thunderstorms across the Ohio Valley. But the strong storms for Friday are going to be centered once again across the Gulf Coast. Rain for the Northeast doesn't look all that impressive. I think some of the highest amounts will be up to an inch. But here's the deal. We're going to head into the weekend. We've got another couple rounds of rain. And I know that people, this is my most popular statement or criticism, I should say, on social media. People complaining about why it only rains on the weekends. 10 of the past 11 weekends in New York City, we had at least a trace of rain. 8 of the 11 past weekends in Washington, D.C. You see Philadelphia coming in at 9. So unfortunately, we're going to add to that total, add to that tally, I should say, here as we get into this weekend. It's not a washout of a weekend, but you will need the umbrella. You might have to have some of those indoor plans, guys. We'll see mostly cloudy skies at least, and maybe some passing showers, but it's good for the grass. It's spring after all.
Did you learn in meteorology school that it has to rain on weekends? Was that part of the education?
Yes, it's what we don't want you to know that we know.
That's what I
the
thought.
secret we're keeping from you.
Have your
secret's out
indoor
now.
activities ready. Keep yourself busy.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Angie.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.